Okay, we're gonna start this meal by preparing the pie because it needs to sit for a while. Now this pie crust I've already prepared around Thanksgiving. I prepared quite a few because I knew I have a lot of holiday baking, so it just saves me time. But you could totally buy store-bought crust here. I'm just gonna roll this out and put it in my pie shell, and then I'll make the filling. So I do, as I'm rolling, this is cold too, which is kind of why it's breaking apart. I want to keep it from breaking as I roll it so that I won't have so many breaks in my final crust when I go to put this in the pan. Now my family and I are really not big on sweets. We don't like a lot of you know, heavily sweeted is that a word? Desserts, but we do like lightly sweet. So this buttermilk pie is perfect in my opinion, with just enough sweetness. My mom, she was a great baker. She actually used to bake for local restaurants when I was young. But I just never really picked up on too many of the things that she made, but I did love the buttermilk pie. My kids, they like stuff like brownies, cookies, things like that. But they will eat this pie. And the sweet potato pie. Normally my sister is the one, she picked up all of the baking talents. She is the one who makes the desserts, and I usually make the savory dishes, but I had to learn how to do a few of them for my own family. Okay, so I'm just measuring to make sure this is going to fit in my pie pan. I'm gonna go a little bit over just to make sure I have enough to do my edges of my pie. All right, I'm just going to trim off the excess here. It's not much, which is great. Won't have to worry about that much waste. And this particular pie, for this pan, which is kind of the reason why I like it, I'm not even gonna worry about any type of edge. I'm just gonna cut off the excess, and then I'll put this in the fridge while I prepare the filling for this buttermilk pie. We're gonna start by creaming together some butter and sugar. This butter, of course, has been left out at room temperature to make this process easy. I'll go ahead and just toss in the sugar. Got 3 large eggs. And I'm gonna add the rest of the ingredients. I have a cup of buttermilk, hence buttermilk pie. I'm gonna juice in 1 lemon, brighten up the flavor here. It smells really good. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add in vanilla. And then I have a couple tablespoons of flour. All right, I'm gonna get ready to put this in the pie shell. I do want to mention, if your color varies from mine, that is perfectly fine. My eggs are really dark and golden, so that could change the color. Also the vanilla, if you use a vanilla that is not brown like the one you saw me use here, that could change the color as well. This is going to bake for about 45 to 50 minutes. So we're gonna get started on the green beans now. Got 4 slices of bacon that I have just diced up, and this is a cold pan. I find that I get more bacon oil rendered when I do it this way. So I'm just gonna go ahead and scatter this. I'm gonna cook this down and saute it while I am preparing those fresh green beans. Okay, the bacon has cooked down. I'm gonna go ahead and take it out and reserve the bacon oil in here. And when the green beans are done, we'll sprinkle this on top. Now to this reserved oil, I'm gonna add a little onion. Okay, this has been going about 3 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and add in the garlic. Of fresh green beans. So I like to toss them a little bit around in the bacon oil before adding the liquid. Now I'm just gonna add 4 cups of chicken broth. I'm going to bring this up to a simmer, and as you can see here, I don't have the green beans completely covered. They're mostly covered. Yeah, I don't like to overboil green beans in recipes like this. When it's too much water, it loses flavor for my liking. So I just like to barely cover it in chicken broth, and it's also why I don't use water either. In this recipe, I use chicken broth for more flavor. But like I said, this is gonna come up to a simmer, and then I'll put the lid on and cook this down until it's tender. All right, we got a boil here. Last thing I'm gonna do before adding the lid is go ahead and add in a little bit of seasoning salt. And I will test it later for seasonings and add pepper at that time. All right, we're good here. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the lid on and turn my fire down and let this simmer. Probably about an hour, maybe longer. Time to get started on our ham. This ham is simple but delicious, but I wanted to make this really easy. So I got a cup of pineapple juice. Now, I had some left over, but if you have orange juice, that will be fine here too. A large onion that I just chopped up. I got 5 cloves of garlic that I just peeled. And then I got a teaspoon of whole cloves. A little bit of apple cider vinegar. And then here, for the honey mustard glazed ham, I have some brown mustard. All I'm gonna do is just give this a little stir. I'm gonna add my roasting rack here. And then I have a 10-pound spiral sliced ham. I'm just going to cover this with foil. I got my oven preheated at 400. I'm gonna let this go about an hour before I baste it. Okay, so I'm gonna first start by basting my ham here. And then we're going to make the glaze and get this back in the oven. I'm gonna remove this entire rack. I got another pan here to put my rack in just so I can get my liquid in order to make the glaze. Okay, the first thing I'm gonna do is fish out those cloves, because we're gonna reserve this liquid, but there's really nothing we can do with these at this point in here. So in here is my reserved liquid. I have just a little bit of ground clove to echo those flavors. That's some brown sugar. Now this time I have Dijon mustard. And then of course, honey. Give this a good little stir and then let this come up and boil till we get that good glaze consistency that we want. All right, we're gonna get started on another accompaniment for this meal. I have some butter that's melted in the pan, and I got a couple sleeves here of some butter crackers. I'm gonna give these a crush. And then I am going to toast these up in the pan and set these aside. This will be the top for my broccoli and cheese casserole. Yeah. All right, so I'm just gonna, not too finely crushed. This has been toasting for a couple minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and just pull this out and reserve this for the topping for our casserole. And again, like I said, I will let you know exactly how much of this I end up using. Now we're gonna go ahead and prepare our rice for the broccoli and cheese casserole. Here I have a little onion. I'm gonna saute this in my pan here with some butter. And we'll go for a few minutes until this gets soft. I don't really want a crunch of onion in this casserole. This has been sauteing about 3 to 5 minutes. At this point, I am actually going to toast my rice. Now, this is just an extra step I like to take, but I do recommend it for a casserole because it'll help keep the rice from getting mushy. So I'm just gonna toast this for a couple minutes. Also, you see my colander is because I always rinse my rice, especially in something like this. I will link a video to my perfect rice. So this is just gonna go a couple minutes here, and make sure that you don't have your heat up too high. We don't want to brown it exactly, but we do want to toast it a little bit. Got this toasted up. I am going to actually cook it right in the pan here. So I got chicken broth, just to add another layer of flavor to my casserole here. I'm gonna bring this up to a boil, put the lid on, and then let this cook for about 15 minutes. This rice has been cooking for about 15 minutes with the lid on, and as you can see, it is perfectly individual grains and fluffed up. I am going to transfer it to a bowl and let it cool while we get the broccoli ready. All right, I got my food processor out. Now here I am, in all, I am going to have about 8 cups of broccoli florets, fresh broccoli florets. And again, like I said, this is easy. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna chop this up in the food processor. Chop this away. I have here 3 pounds of potatoes that's gonna go into my Instapot. Now you could definitely boil them. I just need my space. I'm cooking a lot of dinner today, and so yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and just do it in the Instapot. So I've got 3 pounds of potatoes. I'm just gonna pour a cup of water in, and then I'm just gonna sprinkle a little salt. This is just going to steam for 10 minutes and then I'll let it do a natural release. After these came to a natural release on the Instapot, I went ahead, took them out, let them cool, and then I just gave a rough dice to these, maybe about a medium-sized dice. As you can see, I did remove maybe about half of the peels just because it was easy to do, but I also left some for color and for texture and taste as well. So let's go ahead and mix all of the ingredients in here. Of course, I have some mayo. I do a little bit of mustard. I have some Spanish olives with pimentos that have been sliced. Some green onion. I like this for both color and flavor. Got a little bit of relish. Some salt. And I got some celery seed. I'm gonna mix this together before adding the egg in, because I chopped my egg and I don't want to break it up more than that. So the potatoes have been cooled. That's an important step to this so that the mayonnaise will not absorb all the way through the potatoes. Now I've learned over the years when making potato salad to use the red potatoes. When I first started cooking, my grandma had some things to say about someone who brought over a potato salad and the potato salad was mushy like mashed potatoes. So I told myself never to give that to her, and I had to learn over the years the red potatoes really kind of stand up to this without going into mush. So that's why I like to use them. But I've used Idaho or russet potatoes as well. It just depends on what I have. But if I make an effort and I go grocery shopping for something special like a holiday, I will make sure I get the red potatoes. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and add that egg in now. And then at this point, you can check for seasoning. Add some black pepper, and that's gonna be it. And put this in the fridge and let it sit while I'm finishing the rest of dinner. Once this comes out, I like to go ahead and take my glaze and put more. I actually serve it with the glaze. So once this cools a little bit, I'll go ahead and add it to my serving platter. But this is so delicious, just a good change of flavors to kind of contrast each other with the honey and the mustard and the ham. It's smoky, it's tangy, and it's sweet, and we love it. And here is my completed Christmas dinner. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much. And I served this alongside with my sweet potato biscuits. I will be sure to link that video as well. But here we go. Dinner is served. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy the holidays with your family as well. And be sure to subscribe for this video because we got new videos coming for the new year.